This is the North Bennington Greatest School District Prudential Committee meeting, and its regular meeting for October 2017. And we'll introduce ourselves from my left around.
I'm Tim Schrader, member of the Prudential Committee.
Maria Scully, member of the committee.
Ray Molyneux, member and chair.
Kim Kroll, member.
Mary Rogers, treasurer.
Lori Elwell, clerk.
All right. We don't have any public comments, because unless Derek was interested in saying something. Finance, treasurer's report. You have something to say about that, Mary?
Yes, and I will have to go extemporaneously because I put my binder down to let the cat in. And the cat got in, but the binder didn't get out. So, I would comment that the expenses that you'll be approving today, there was one in there where the funds we have left over from last year for the legal fee. Remember,
Yeah.
we had transferred 5,000 and we only
Yes.
used 3, so that 1,050 is coming out of that
Yes.
monies.
Right.
And
As opposed to the retainer
sure.
that's coming out of
Yeah.
the cash we had on hand.
always like
Sorry.
So that is that, and let's see. I don't think there was anything else that was really noteworthy or unusual.
Right.
Other than, we do have the couple of checks that came in, as you and I had conversed, for the claim, for the sink overflow,
Mhm.
which I guess that's all we're gonna,
No?
no, there's still
No.
gonna be more. Because
The-
will they pay
the-
everything but 2,500 on those claims?
Yes.
Is that how it works?
I believe so.
Okay.
They sent us money,
Mhm.
but they don't say they're not going to pay anymore. They
Okay.
will pay based on invoices we provide
Okay,
them.
okay.
And now we'll just provide them canceled check.
Yeah. And then we will have the new claim,
Documentation, yeah.
the new claim for which not all the invoices are
Well,
yet in,
but-
at least on this warrant.
$3,100 in that money in was
Correct.
for the new claim.
No.
Yes, it is.
That's not what either of the checks say. They are referencing the old date and the old claim
Oh,
number.
that's not supposed to be what happened.
Oh. they-
Because that 3155 is exactly was at the bottom line of the
Okay.
adjuster's math for the music
Okay.
room water intrusion.
Both of those September checks referenced a March claim date and had the same claim
That's all.
number. So,
Well, maybe I'm wrong about that, except it's exactly what
Okay.
the July claim
okay.
amounted to. So.
Okay, well, nevertheless, even if that's the case, we still have a
we
balance that
still
would
have to
be
submit.
due on both claims.
Yes.
Okay,
That's right. So, and then I found 2 more invoices that somehow I squirreled away.
okay,
So, one is for the carpet tiles that went back into the music room, and one is for some alarms in the gym,
Okay.
so it's
Violin
separate.
cases.
now let me ask, will you be?
Violin cases.
And then there's the
Yeah.
violin cases and the instruments themselves.
Will you be requesting those be paid on a second warrant in October, or will they wait until the November warrant?
I think I'm going to get the 2 outstanding invoices. The violin cases and violins are not invoices, they're just estimates,
Mhm.
on which basis of which we make a claim, I think. But yes, I want to get them paid because they should have been paid this month.
Okay. The reason I ask is that I draw down from the line of credit
Mhm.
estimated to cover only this warrant here
Yeah,
tonight.
I didn't
So-
send you the amounts, so I'll have to
Okay.
send you the amounts.
Okay. And there's time yet to do that
Yes.
in the year.
I'd like to get it see if I can get one special warrant out of Jeff if he's
Yeah.
got the time to run it. So.
And then there is a draw on the line of credit
Mhm.
for I believe it was $18,000 that I did.
Okay.
And that covers everything
No.
on this warrant.
Our next order of business is the consent agenda, and in that warrant, I have a question about, you go to the last warrant there.
Mhm.
There's a check to be cut to, or that has been cut to go to the AOE for, I forget exactly what the acronym is.
Well,
I can-
there
And I don't
there
understand
was
why that
Vermont
is.
Agency of Education, that one.
Yes, yes.
I can speak to that if you want me to.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
I don't know, I did send you an email back this afternoon, I'm not sure if you
Well,
saw.
I don't see it.
So, SEER is what it is referenced on there, SEER,
Yeah,
which is
right.
the Special Education Expenditure Report. So what happens at the end of every fiscal year, actually even incrementally through the year, we have to report back to the state the monies that
Mhm.
we're spending.
Right.
So, what happened in FY17 is that, based on the service plan that our special education department puts together,
Yeah,
the AOE fronts us money, so they advance us funds
Right.
throughout the year. For this particular line, they had advanced us a little over $150,000.
right.
At the end of the year, we actually ended up spending $139,000.
Yeah.
So basically, we have to send
Okay.
that extra
But
$11,000.
they advanced that money to you, to the SU.
Oh, it went to North Bennington. The funding change doesn't actually happen until this fiscal year.
Mm,
So that's why they don't, what normally would happen
Okay.
in previous years is
I'm-
that they would
I'm-
short us.
I thought it already happened last year. That's why I thought.
We started talking about it because of the
Yeah.
budget implications it was gonna have.
Right.
So normally they would, on our first advance in the fall, they would basically just reduce that
Yeah.
payment by what was owed
Right.
for the last fiscal. But they don't have the mechanism to do that now because the money is actually gonna be going to the SU.
Mhm.
But the cash came into North Bennington. So it's kind of a one-time fix.
Yeah,
This
they couldn't take
interim
it from the allotment to the SU because you need the money to operate with.
period. Exactly.
Right. Okay, thanks. I was confused because I thought that was already under that change in,
And it will be
Load.
posted back to 17.
yes, right,
Oh, good, I'll make a note of that.
okay.
The auditors will be here next week, so
All right.
closing everything up.
You mean they'll actually be here, not just virtual?
They
next
will be
week?
here all week.
All right. So that's the finance part of the meeting. We're on to the consent agenda, which, let's see, on the second page, we have minutes from September 13th and from the special all boards carousel meeting on September 28th. And then we have the warrants that are warrants, yeah. Which are paying Mary for part of her stipend.
These were actually
Taxes.
paid last month, they just weren't, they
Oh,
just weren't.
I signed for them.
Yeah, you signed them.
Yeah.
They just weren't.
Right. And then there's payment to Shaftesbury for the students from our district who attend Shaftesbury Elementary School, and a payment to the village school for the month of October. And this payment to the Agency of Education, which is a return of funds that were not used for special education purposes. And what else am I missing something else there? Oh, the,
I believe
uh,
construction.
The construction items, and then the payment to our attorney for the letter to Dan French and the AOE about the merger. So I'd entertain motions, a motion to pass the consent agenda.
So moved.
A second.
Thank you. Does anybody have anything to make a point about on these warrants? Or ask a question, like I did, out of turn? But now it would be a turn, so if you have a question, something you need explained. Hearing nothing. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so that's all of us. And then we go, oops. Get out of there. Yeah. I've lost the darn.
You want my copy?
Jim.
Oh, here.
Thank you.
Chair's report is next.
Well, I don't have a lot to say. Why don't we, can we shift the policies forward? And let's get that over with.
It's not gonna take long. I mean, we discussed them all. I think the only thing that might be an addition was in 5411. I think it was added, it was in the administrative regs at the end where they added the actual protocols for, how to deal with these things. And
Okay.
It's in there.
And those are protocols for people who are actually faced with
Right.
bloodborne pathogens?
Written by nurses, I think.
Yes, right. Okay. So you have a recommendation? Do you want to do it individually, or?
I would blanket, we discussed them all already, and I think they're ready to adopt.
Okay, so shall we call each one out, or, I guess we should do that, let's see, so.
So you get all the numbers.
Yep. Motion to adopt policy number 1100 for fixed assets.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Policy 3115, prevention of conflict of interest in procurement.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4121, travel reimbursement.
You want to move?
Oh, so
Second.
moved.
Yeah, let's rotate it around.
You can move the next one.
Yeah.
Just make it more annoying for Lori.
All right. Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4327, family and medical leave.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
5411, comprehensive HIV and bloodborne pathogens
So
policy.
Second.
Beat me.
Competition. All in favor?
Aye.
3100, transportation.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's it.
Sorry,
We're done
Lori.
with that. One interesting thing about the SVSU meetings is that the Powell contingent usually motions in seconds. They're so quick on the trigger that they're almost always first.
You guys have been really busy in the policies committee.
Yeah. Oh, and we finished all those and they said, pick some new ones to go over. We all said, yay. Huh.
I'm glad you're so gung-ho.
I know, it's scary, isn't it?
What is that? Bill's doing all the ordinances.
we're just
We're at the
weird.
village.
When geeks attack.
Oh.
you know?
Well, the first three were as a result of our visit from the AOE audit that we had.
Yeah, okay. So, chair's report. That's our final order of business. Okay, well, enrollments, I don't really have it all puzzled out yet. I'm still working on that. I don't think there are any radical changes from what we budgeted for. We may have one or two additional students. Although we had some movement from Highland Hall to the village school, we had an increase of one at Southshire, and then it disappeared. And because the parent decided to change course, and Shasberry has 4, Pine Cobble has 4. And I think the village school has about 117. And then there's the pre-K contingent, which I need to, doesn't affect us at the moment, but I would like to hear from Kate about the numbers there. So we're aware of who those kids are. Some of them are here, so we're aware of those. And Lori probably knows who they are anyway, but.
Do you mean tuition pre-K kids? Is that the number you'd like to hear from
Yes,
Kate?
right.
Okay.
Yep. 3 and 4-year-olds, because we'll need to know those numbers going into budget season, because we know what our 6th grade size is, and we want to see what's going to hit the deck here. And I'm sure Lori will be helpful there, because she's always concerned about that.
Yes, I am.
Since they don't just hit anyway, where they hit in her classroom.
True. They've hit hard the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I have one question about the Shaftesbury kids.
Mhm.
I've noticed that the bus has been coming to my neighborhood to pick up kids to take them to Shaftesbury.
Mhm.
Is Shaftesbury paying for that bus, or are we paying for that bus?
Shaftesbury.
Okay.
Yeah. That's their bus, or it's
What's the
not
defor-
their bus
It's the
anymore.
DeFore bus.
Yeah, it's a DeFore bus.
Okay.
But there's a child on McGuire Street, and a child on corner of Hawks and
Okay.
Grandview, and then I don't know. Then there's someone on, a couple people on 67A East. So,
I was just wondering.
yep. So the bus would appear to make that little run. Act 46 Study Committee. Well, I mean, you all know what I know, basically, which is that North Bennington is not part of the merger vote, and all the other districts have warned meetings, and I believe Shaftesbury had a meeting last night, right? A warned meeting, right at the 30-day, well, a little less than 30-day, but right at the beginning of the period. So Powell, Bennington, and Woodford will all be holding meetings, and then they'll be holding a vote. What day is that? November what?
7?
7th. So I really have nothing else to say about it at the moment. We've talked about it for ad infinitum, it seems like. And it comes down to what these other districts decide to do. If Bennington doesn't vote for it, then it falls. If Bennington and 2 others don't vote for it, it falls. And there are 4 districts voting, so it's up to the voters. And I did hear some remarks from the Shaftesbury resident about that they were concerned about losing ownership of the school, and also they have a considerable fund for repairs and maintenance at the school, losing that fund. And I'm sure Pownell has similar concerns. Woodford I'm sure has big concerns because as far as I can tell, they're right in the, they're sitting right in the center of the target here for closure after 5 years or so. I would say that in general, I have a real philosophical disagreement with the way this has been conducted, because at this point you have a vote on articles of agreement that tell you something about how this thing is going to be constructed, but you have absolutely no idea of policy after the board is constructed. There's in fact a veil of ignorance between here and there, and decisions are deferred and postponed to that board that it would be useful to know what they were going to be like. If we had been involved and were actually participating in the vote, there would be lots of questions for our parents, because we were targeted for, we don't have a school, so we wouldn't have a school. Afterwards, our kids would no longer be able to access the schools that they're able to access now. So there would have been a cost of opportunity, but moreover, beyond that, suppose people wanted to do that, there would have been no answers, as far as I can tell, for where are they going to go, where's my kid going to go to school, and what's the transportation going to be like, things like that. And of course, we would be losing the building, which we currently own, and assets that we have from trust funds that were given to the district. So all the districts have those concerns. We at the moment we're awaiting to see what the structure is that's going to emerge from this. If they vote down this merger, then the only outcome that could come out of it is a modified unified union school district, because we're not participating. So that is at least a known kind of structure. That well, it's a little ad hoc, but there's at least one other in the state, and they have a strategy for dealing with districts that aren't participants in the merger, which is that they participate in the decision making about secondary affairs. But if that gets voted down, then from what I can tell, the likelihood is that the state will impose a union of the elementary districts, and MAU will stay intact and will still maintain an SU to provide services to all of to MAU, the union union elementary districts, and to North Bennington. So that's what I see at the moment. We're just waiting to see what happens. And prospectively, looking forward, I think we're taxed with the idea of telling the state board how hard we worked on this. But the reasons we're not involved are structural. We're just a different kettle of fish. And if we wanted to maintain the structure of opportunity that we provided for our children, we had no way to join, and no one else in even the whole state to really join without changing certain characteristics, namely our being part of Mount Anthony Union District. So that said, that's all I'd like to say about it, but I think Kim and Maria like to talk a little bit about what kind of things you think we should be saying to our public? to
Could I ask one
districts?
question first?
Sure.
Are we now past the date where somebody can
Yes.
successfully petition us to vote? Okay,
Yes.
cool, good.
I think I'd rather wait to see what happens on November 7th. If anybody has questions for me, I'm willing to answer, but I want to see what the rest of the districts are going to do. Because I don't think I have anything else to, I have to have more information.
Right, I mean, I think I would agree with that. I think we need, at this point, we need to wait and see how everyone votes before we, before we have even an idea where we're going. I feel like it's a wait and
Well,
see at this point.
I'm more, what if someone in our district or even from out, but more likely from within our district wants to know, well, what is our situation here? And so what do we say to that? Because that's not dependent on the vote, it's dependent on our stance going in, so. I mean, is there a quick answer that we can give people?
Yeah, we're trying to maintain our status. We're trying to maintain what we have right now, given outside influences and outside forces. And
Mhm.
without, further input from that vote, I can't say what we're going to do next. All I can say is
That's
that
right.
we are going to try to preserve what we are.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. We're trying to maintain the school and the idea that our community voted on 3 times.
Yeah.
And clearly they've sent the message that this is what they would like us to preserve, and that's our intention.
Is it also correct to say that we're on pretty good legal footing to maintain this status at the moment?
Yes.
Mhm.
Either way, we would end up maintaining exactly the way we are and we're,
From pre-K to 6?
yeah.
Correct.
Act 46 is pretty explicit that they cannot touch that. You have to decide
Yeah.
to change it. The law itself cannot come in and change that. Right.
Section 4 says that very clearly. It says that for operating districts, says it for non-operating districts.
Mhm.
As long as you don't choose to change it, you're entitled to remain that way. I'm, given that, it's hard for me to figure out exactly what we would report to the state other than to say, well, look,
have
we,
no
Yeah.
I guess we should sort of compile what our efforts have been
Today.
to this
Yeah,
process
yeah,
all the way through, and I asked Bruce Learman months ago to compile all his meetings and give us that stuff.
Mhm.
And then, of course, we have minutes from the Act 46 various.
We had those informal committee meetings.
Mhm.
And Tom Martin has a lot of notes as well.
Yeah.
Would it be worthwhile, I could start a shared Google Doc with Bruce and all of us, and we could just start dumping stuff into it.
That would be great, because you can actually dialogue about it on.
Yeah, and then try to compile it into something that
Mhm.
would be distillable
Mhm.
and understandable by
Yeah,
any old person.
because that's, I think, due by the end of December, right?
I
I
thought
think-
it was November,
Yeah, I think-
actually.
No, I think it was moved to December. That's what it says in, where did I read that? I believe that was changed with 49.
I
That
think
was one
our
thing.
list of official actions would be very small, though. I mean, we did have a lot of discussion,
Yes.
but I think we participated in an official Act 46 committee for a very short period of time. and then it reorganized without us.
Mhm.
And that is the extent, I think, of what, I mean, other than discussion. I don't think it would be a very long list.
Well, Bruce had a lot of meetings.
He did a lot of work.
Yes.
I'm
You mean in
absolutely
an
not
official
saying, I'm
capacity.
saying
Yes.
official
As
actions.
official board.
Yeah.
As the
But
district.
it's not just official, because we.
I understand that. I'm
we
just saying that if we're gonna
stimulated that.
submit something to the state,
Mhm.
I think all of the discussion led to the fact that we have no dance partners.
Right.
And that's all that it, I mean,
Mhm,
we could
mhm.
go into all of it, and we
Mhm, mhm.
certainly should, and I'm absolutely thrilled that he did all that work, because now we're here, and I feel like we're, we have a clear path to
Mhm.
maintain what we
Right.
have. However, our official actions are very
Mhm.
minimal.
We have very few official actions, but I sat in on an awful lot of meetings where we talked through
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different permutations of where we could go, and every single one of those turned out to be not possible for one reason or another,
Mm-hmm.
which led us to
Yeah.
this spot.
Mhm.
And mostly that was due to structural issues. You know, other non-operating
Or no clarity
districts.
from the state. That was a big part of it too. I'm just saying, if we're gonna submit something to the state, we can keep it really simple. We tried, it wouldn't work because of this. It's very simple.
Right, when it comes right down to it,
Mhm.
that's it. We're not like any other non-operating district in
Right.
our area,
Right.
so we can't join them
Mhm.
without other changes. And we didn't want to, the other way was to go back and join the operating districts. We didn't want to go that route.
Right,
And there is no middle way,
exactly.
except to stay exactly the way we are. And,
Mhm.
Even if it's
That's
not
right.
in our official report to the state, though, is it worthwhile having a report that's publicly available documenting all of these different things we
Yeah, I
did
think
talk
so.
about and try?
yeah.
All of Bruce's notes, other people's, Heather Bullock spent a lot of time with this as well. She probably could contribute.
So, I'm looking for, if you would do that, the Google Docs website, what's it called?
It's a website, but it's a way that we can have a document
Yeah,
that
everybody can look at
And work on.
And edit.
and
actively
work
edit at
on,
the
and you
same
can
time.
see where the edits are.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you're willing to do that?
Yeah, I can set that up.
You're willing
Sure.
to, would you be the moderator of it? I guess?
Sure. I can take charge of editing that.
All right. I would appreciate that.
Yep, I can do it.
And then, I think you should then get in touch with everybody that's participated.
Yeah.
Bruce, Matt,
Well, certainly all of us, and then probably John, because he was on the
John.
board for a
Mhm.
bunch
Yep.
of that time.
Right.
Bruce and maybe Heather.
right?
Trying to remember
Probably
who
forward
else was.
everything Tom
Trying to
did.
remember
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah, we can.
We can
just
forward
sent
you
us a
a
bunch
bunch
of
of-
stuff so we can send it on.
Okay.
Right, and the flow chart you came up with. too.
Mhm.
This could all be stuff for our, that could
And,
go under
you
annual,
should have-
annual report this year.
You should probably capture minutes from there are three different structures here. There was the original 46 committee, then there was a study committee,
Mhm.
and then this last one. So, as an appendix, you've got all those minutes because we're mentioned in most of those minutes.
Right. This will wind up being quite a large document, I think.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's going to be appendices of,
Mm-hmm.
Bruce's meetings, the Act 46 meetings. And then I guess someone's going to have, I don't know, do you conceive that we need an attorney to write this for us, or a consultant,
For our
or
official
do it
report to-
ourselves?
For our
Or
official report to the state, maybe we do want to have an attorney look at it.
so maybe I should talk to Mark Ottinger about it.
That might be a good
Whether
idea.
you would take our materials and sit sit with us for briefly, hopefully an hour, and then put something together that he could take for us to the state, I suppose.
Yeah, I think what Marie was just saying, I think our official report to the state
It's
might
pretty
be quite
simple.
short.
Yeah.
But I think for general information and for the public to see, there should be some sort of.
Should be all these appendices.
We should
as well.
put this all together somehow, so if anybody's here, it's what we actually did.
Yeah,
which
so
was
then
a lot.
we could publicize this location.
Meg might be somebody to
I
talk to.
I think legal
Meg.
counsel in the final, what we turn into the state is a great idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. All right,
Hate
that
to screw up the
sounds
very last
reasonable.
step.
What?
I hate to screw up the very last step.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're gonna do that.
So either.
Okay, so I don't think there's anything further. Wait, why did I put an other in here? Was that just precautionary?
There's always
If-
other.
You were thinking motion to adjourn.
Matt usually does
Did
that.
I hear a
but
motion
it's
to
not-
adjourn?
Yeah, Matt's not here.
I
Who's
heard a
gonna do
motion to
that?
adjourn.
Second.
Is there a second? Second. Was there just a coup?
You can move anything you want. The chair still has
They're just
to
two.
Yes.
call the question unless someone in the group wants to do that. Yeah, I can't think of why. I think I had something in mind, but I don't remember what it was. So, after we sign the warrants, then we will adjourn. How about that? Thank you, Renee, for coming and explaining, because obviously I was confused.
Well, those acronyms, that'll do it.
Well, it wasn't the acronym, it was just why is it coming out of our
Yeah.
budget?
Thank you.
There were two, yeah, there were both of those printed.
You want that? That's your copy.
Yeah, one of those. Yes.
We adjourned,
Okay.
I believe.